see to jobs that you two can do. It's no good having a dog and barking yourself." He gave Toby and Mary a backward glance as he walked away to his group of friends, who slapped him on his back and gave him their condolences once again as they walked away from the graveside. "He's changed since Nell took ill," Toby said. "I know he's the head of the local constabulary and that he does a good job for the people of Leeds, but he's no longer the kind man that he once was. He was all right when he first brought Nell to live with us, after the death of my mother, and despite his reservations about you coming to live with us, he was a good father to us both. However, of late he seems to have decided he could have done a lot better for himself, and has grown ashamed of me, you, and Nell." Toby reached for Mary's hand. "I thought that at least he would have had a funeral tea for her, but instead he's drowning his sorrows in the Bluebell with his cronies." Mary shook her head. "I know it's hard for you, but I think he expected you to follow in his shoes. Instead, you love your horses and have no wish to be of importance. Don't worry, Toby, let him be. He's best left alone in the mood he's been in of late. He did his job and brought us both up, and I think with Nell gone, it's time we moved out and let him get on with his own life. I've not said anything to you before now, but I've been and looked at a place in Riley's Court the other day. I can just about afford the rent because I thought it best if I moved out, things being like they are," Mary said, seeing the shock on Toby's face. "You'd leave me alone with him? He might be my father, but there's not a day goes by that we don't argue. You, or, bless her, Nell, always acted as the buffer between us." Toby's face dropped. "I'd be out on my arse as soon as you left. He's told me often enough that it was time for me to be finding a woman of my own and settling down, which is all right for him to say on the money he brings home, but I earn next to nowt in the livery stables. Besides, nobody will have me. I'm not exactly reliable with these dodgy lungs of mine, and I'm not that fussed about taking a wife. I don't want the responsibility," Toby moaned, as they stepped out of the churchyard and onto the busy streets of Leeds. "I'd not leave you behind if you don't want me to. You can come with me, as long as you pay half the rent and do a few odd jobs around the place. We'd have to lie to the neighbours, perhaps, and tell them that we're true sister and brother, else they'd think I was just living with you, and I'm not having that. The place I've looked at does have 2 bedrooms, but there is one drawback. It backs onto the railway line, so it's noisy." Mary hadn't really wanted to leave Toby behind, but at the same time she was beginning to need a life of her own. With Nell dead, she thought it was the right time to strike out on her own in life, because the last thing she wanted was to be stuck at home, looking after a man she no longer trusted. She'd made a small living doing mending and sewing for those who were not so skilled in that area. However, now she had found the place in Riley's Court, and had been cheeky enough to ask the bar manager at Laithwaite's in the centre of Leeds for a place of work if one came available. She'd no intention of keeping house for Robert, to be there at his beck and call like Nell had been, and that, she knew, would be what happened if she did not make a move now. And it could be even worse than that. Robert Jones had never been a truly loving father to her, and now, having caught him looking at her in a certain way, she knew that she would no longer be safe from his advances, living under the same roof as him. "If you'll have me, I'll come with you. I do love my father, but I sometimes think he doesn't feel the same way about me. I know he's fed us and clothed us over the years, and I know we are both grateful for that. I might be his son, but I just know he's not got the time of day for me, that he thinks I'm a failure. So I'll join you in your new venture. No one will know different that we're not related through blood, and if the neighbours do think different, then let them talk. We know that we are just as close as sister and brother, but nothing more. It'll be their dirty minds that have it any other way." Toby grinned and winked at Mary. "Can't we do better than Riley's Court if I'm to help with the rent? That place fair shakes when trains go past, and there's some rum folk live there." "It's all right. The cottage will soon be made clean and tidy. There's even a table and chairs in the kitchen, and 2 beds left from the previous tenant. There's an outside privy that the 4 houses share, and granted the curtains twitched in the houses next door when I looked around it, but that's just what we would have done if we were to have new neighbours. One old lass even came out and asked all about me, but she seemed all right. She only wanted to know if I was single or married, and was more concerned that I hadn't a brood of children than anything else. She didn't want the noise of them in the yard, despite her house backing onto the railway line," Mary said and laughed.